Yo, what's popping? I thought I'd make a video on the patch that the Overwatch League is going to be playing on next stage. It's the patch that we played on at the end of the beta, so no changes from that. But if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe for more daily Overwatch League content, and comment down below how you think the patch will change the meta. So I'm just going to go through what the patch is, and then I'll talk about what I think might be meta. I'll talk about what some other people might think is meta, and some reasons I believe that. So I'll start down here and then go back up. Sojourn, her right click's easier to hit. It's twice the size. And her power slide, the cooldown's been reduced from 7 to 6 seconds. Also, her primary fire is increased from 13 to 15 shots per second, and her ammo has been increased from 40 to 45. Now, you might think, oh, it's just it's just a little faster, but it being faster makes her railgun charge faster, so it's actually a pretty big deal. It's not just like it has a compounding effect on her character. I could see her being good, but I'll talk about that later. Soldier 76. He does 2 less damage per pellet, so 30 times 2 is 60 less damage per mag before incorporating headshots. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but it actually is a decently significant margin. You know, that is 10%, so it's a 10% damage reduction, if you think about it like that. The sprint, his move speed reduced from 50 to 40%. That makes him more like the live Overwatch 1, where it's about that speed probably, because DPS had that innate speed boost, so it kind of brings him back a little bit, makes him easier to dive for monkeys. And Attack Visor now allows for critical hits if a shot would have been a critical hit outside his ultimate, and no longer removes the damage fall off. So technically, the potential for Attack Visor has been increased, but it's an overall nerf because the damage fall off was actually a very important part of his kit, and in Overwatch 2 it was very strong. So I'd say the overall visor is nerfed. And now it technically does nothing if you're always hitting headshots. Before it had some advantage. I guess it increases your reload speed, but then not really. Sombra has the same thing as Soldier, where her movement speed is now more like live. Going on to the tanks, Roadhog's Whole Hog is now a channeled ability, so it basically just changes what his primary fire is from just his standard thing to the Whole Hog, which means he can vape in it, he can hook in it, and it won't get cancelled if he gets stunned. So good change. Don't know if it's enough to see him get anything. Winston, his right click ammo cost reduced from 20 to 12 to 12. Good change, but you know, whatever. And Wrecking Ball, his knockback is increased by 36%. This is actually kind of big, playing into tanks, especially like a Rush comp or a Zarya comp or something. I think this will be good. Zarya, her Graviton Surge has been reduced from 4 to 3.5 seconds. I don't think it's a huge deal, but it will be like somewhat noticeable. But I don't think it will affect her overall viability. The supports. So Lucio, his self-healing penalty has been increased from 30 to 60%. This makes him harder to kill, because the passive of supports regaining HP over time, mixed with Lucio being able to self-heal, made him very strong. Baptiste, his healing ammo was increased from 10 to 13, and also his shift now instantly heals for 50 HP and 50 over time instead of 100 over time. Additionally, the instant heal portion will be doubled on targets that are 50% or lower HP. So this, and also no longer heals Baptiste for double, but I think he'll still get this 50% extra. This is a buff to Baptiste, and it seems to make him quite strong. It's 150 HP on his shift, 100 immediately. That's extremely high burst healing now. They're pretty high, right? It's not like on a nade plus you're shooting shots into him, but it does save people in a pinch and will make him like pretty strong. Going back down, Ana, her ammo increased from 12 to 15. However, her nade the duration has been reduced from 4 to 3 seconds. This doesn't seem like a huge deal, but let's say you hit a huge ante, now your team has to capitalize faster on it. You have to have more synergy. You have to plan for it better. Because maybe it takes a second to go in. Well, now you only have 2 seconds to kill them as opposed to having 3, which is actually a pretty decent deal. Zenyatta, huge changes, obviously, right? He gains an extra 25 shields. He has the new passive that gives his quick melee extra 50% damage and significantly increases its knockback. The knockback is more than Lucio Boop melee. Of course, it's at a lower distance. It's only on, well, it can be on multiple people, I guess. But It's like not really a peel tool, it's a self peel tool. And Brigitte knockback on her shield bass is doubled, so that's good, but I don't know how much I care. And then Mercy super jump, right? She now can super jump very consistently. This is actually a good change, I think, because of how inconsistent super jump was, and you needed a way to make it consistent. This is the decent way to do it. I know people are really upset about it, maybe lowering the tech skill ceiling, but at the end of the day, it was still an inconsistent ability, and I don't think it should be inconsistent. So, I don't know. I think it's fine. What else do we have here? So, that's it. So how do I think this will affect the patch? Well, first let's look at what some other people might think. So Avril, right? He says that the Ana Lucio Zarya nerf plus Zenbap Sojourn buffs means we are likely to see a double flex support poke meta next stage. Also foreseeing an increase in Rein Brawl strength on Bap, with the possibility for Brig Zen dive to be strong as well. Zarya meta dead in my opinion. FYI, no Scrimbuck's influence, just a personal punt based on my own intuition. Zarya dead is maybe a little extreme, but I do expect her pick rate to go down, especially if Rein pick rate due to the Bap buff goes up. Via pros, Bap almost unanimously declared to be busted on this patch. Also, San Francisco Scop picking up Mikey might mean that there is a ball meta incoming, perhaps, because that's the only thing I can personally see him playing over Kalush. So, what do I think? I think that Soldier, not going to be played nearly as much. Maybe some teams will still play him, but I think teams will opt for the Tracer more, or maybe an Ashe, or maybe a Sojourn. Other than that, I don't think the damage characters are going to see much change depending on composition, right? So I think we'll still see Mei on with Rein comps. What will we see instead of Soldier? Maybe Tracer. Tracer seems to be able to fit in as that DPS character that is very hard to dive and does their own thing a little bit. Maybe Sojourn. I'm not entirely sure how strong the Sojourn change will be. It is very hard to gauge, but to me, it seems like it could be kind of good, just because the railgun uptime should be much higher now. And I believe that she gains like railgun uptime by shooting shields. I'm not entirely sure if that's true, but I think it should. I think it does work like that, which would be good against the Rein comps. Other than that, the tanks didn't see much important changes. So it's really up to the Baptiste and the Zen, these two flex supports. This is what's going to dictate which compositions are good. Soldier can be replaced by Sojourn, can be replaced by Tracer. There's ways around it. But this is different. Does Baptiste outvalue Ana now, especially because the nade lasts less time? Before, right, nade would go out, Bap puts out the immortality field. Now the immortality field needs to last a full second less to get value. That's kind of easy. That's like a noticeable difference that you have to keep your thingy alive from 4 to 3. And now, with the changes up here, Bap will heal them back 100 instantly. He's healing a squishies an instant 100 and then giving them an extra 50 and also shooting them. Nade kind of loses to the lamp now. Before, you could kill the lamp and they wouldn't be able to get enough healing out, and the nade would have won the fight. Now the nade's not maybe an instant fight win against Baptiste, which makes the Reinhardt comp without the diva, right? No diva, so nothing to eat the nade. Now the lamp out-sustains the nade. So Bat might be better than Ana there. And also, now she's competing with Zen too. Zen, much harder to kill. I don't know how much the quick melee will do. Some people say it's going to be crazy because you can like punch blades, you can punch Winstons, you can punch people away from you. I'm not sold on that. I think that's I'm not sold on it. I'm not entirely sure. But especially because let's say it's a Zarya, maybe Zarya still comes into play with a Genji. Now you bubbled the blade. Who knows? How does it fare against Reaper? Reaper TPing in. How does he kick away a Reaper? No, he probably dies before the Reaper gets into melee range. I don't know. And now there's also the main support to part to think about. Does Lucio having his longevity, having his like ability to live cut down, is Brig a better pick more often? We've already seen Brig on Watch Punch Gibraltar, on Dorado, Route 66, maps like that. Do we see her more often? Does she have more longevity than Lucio? Better self-peel? Maybe. Maybe. So, what I am predicting, less Ana gameplay, more Baptiste gameplay, probably more Zenyatta gameplay. Especially on the rush, we've seen teams opt to play on a rush. I don't think we'll see that anymore. I think Bap Lamp is too strong, or I think Bap Lamp will be an option to stop biotic grenades, which is big. Avril saying the Zarya comps are dead. Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sold on that. I'm not entirely sold on that. What does let's say you're playing a ball double poke into the Zarya. Zarya suffers greatly into Zen and Bap, but the Reaper can still take space, which is what the whole point of the Zarya comp was, for the Reaper to take the space, let the team move up, let them do their thing. Maybe you see a Reaper, instead of Reaper Soldier, maybe you see a Reaper Genji sort of thing. Maybe you see a Reaper Sojourn. Whatever the case is, I'm not sold if double poke truly gets rid of it. Yeah, it's a backline that does more damage to the bubbles and kills it faster, but if you take out a lamp off of a bubble and a TP, you're enjoying that trade and you're going back and you're getting value. So I'm not entirely sure if Zarya comp is dead, and I still think Reaper is good against like your Reinhardts in the Rhine Rush. Maybe you find an option, kind of take space through that way. Against Winston, I'm not sold on it being dead because I do think Reaper is strong, and I think Zarya pairs best with Reaper. So you would play Reaper still, and then Zarya. But I don't know. This was more just a get your thoughts thinking, consider things. Yeah. So that's gonna be it for me. Have yourself a good one. This is just my thoughts on the patch, and yeah, see ya.